Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to share both my thanks and gratitude firstly to all of you blokes for opening up and being leaders in talking with passion and honesty here over the past few weeks. And secondly, also thanks to the organisers for putting all this program together and running it for us and for our community as well. You guys should all be proud of yourselves for establishing this program, and as it's helped all of us grow as men, and I honestly believe that this kind of initiative should be rolled out and run in every community across the country. It's starting to sound like a politician. I was writing this on a plane the other night. My wife's told me don't go off script, and I'm already starting to. But I really think that something like this should be run in every sort of community across Oz. It's such a great thing, and I talked to my mates overseas as well, and a lot of them don't have something like this over there, so it's really cool that we've done this. But I really think we should run this across the country, as there's many more men out there who would greatly benefit from the topics, lessons and storytelling that came out of the Men of Moreland nights. So for the second part of my talk, I just wanted to touch on what the program has meant to me on a personal level. Tonight I'm joined by my best mate and my wife, my best mate and my wife, Gem. There's not two people. Thanks for coming. So this Saturday, Gem and I leave Melbourne after 5 years of living here to head back to our hometown of Brizzy. We're a little sad, but we're also very excited to get a fresh start and get back to be closer with our families. And also to see the sun for 365 days of the year instead of 49. So we're really stoked to get back to Brizzy. But the past year has been a really difficult period for us. We endured some serious sort of financial kind of issues that sort of came out of the blue. We had some really sort of major health issues and injuries to contend with, and we also went through a really sort of turbulent miscarriage. And I talked about that with a lot of my mates and on social with a couple of friends, and it was really interesting to sort of learn how many people actually go through something like that. But it was a big thing to sort of talk about as well, not just for me but for my wife obviously as well. And as depressing and as shit as it all was, Gem and I did it together, and we formed a closer partnership. And to be completely honest, it was just a really depressing and frustrating and overwhelming situation, something I'd never really experienced before, where a lot of these issues and problems had all sort of built up on top of each other and these other issues, and I really wouldn't wish what sort of happened to us on anyone. But and I used to be a school teacher, and I would always be teaching resiliency to my students, and especially to a lot of young men, and to find myself in this situation, it was just really difficult. I thought I'd sort of be able to get through it. So it really tested my resiliency and taught me that even when, even people who have never experienced depression or thought they were immune to it, can still get caught up or affected by the black dog of depression, no matter how strong mentally they think they are, and how I thought I was. The past year is really hard to even describe, and while I couldn't get out of bed this time last year, all of November last year I was in bed. I'm sorry, Gem, I put you through all that. And I horrifically even told my wife at one point when we were going through a lot of really terrible stuff that I wanted to kill myself. And it was words that I didn't mean, and I wouldn't ever act on. I couldn't ever do that to Gem or to my mum or people in my life. But it was words nonetheless that still got into my head, and words that I'm very sorry to have said to my wife, as it caused great distress. But what is important is that I sought help and I talked about my issues, and a year on we're in a much better place and looking forward to this fresh start back home. Our financial sort of issues got resolved finally after a year of fighting, and it's something I'm really proud of myself for not giving up on what we sort of had to go through and how we fought what we had to go through. I followed my passion and got a job working in beer, and I hope you guys enjoyed that beer that I was able to give to a couple of you. And lastly, we got the news last week that we have a baby on the way. So fingers crossed, everything goes to plan. But yeah, so the final little part of this as well. I've completely gone off script. I really should listen to my wife. This program taught me to not give up, to be a better man, to stand up and be a better leader in my family and in my community, and to realise that when bad stuff happens, all you can do is put one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward. That we must talk to people and seek help, and understand that no matter how hard life gets or when the shit hits the fan, that eventually everything does actually end up working out okay. But that it has to start with us basically putting the effort in. And I think we've all done that by getting out of our comfort zones and coming along to these sessions. And it started from that first session when we all didn't know each other, but we all just started talking about what was going on and who we were. And I think that's just such a really incredible thing that we all basically came together and just started talking and we didn't even know each other. I'm in a phenomenally better mental space as a result of participating in Men of Moreland. You can use that as a quote too. My fitness and mental health has improved and I feel like I've grown as a man. And I'm stoked to have met you all, hear your stories and achievements as well. Finally, while I might not see you fellas ever again, I wish you all the success in the rest of your life, and just remember that we have picked up some useful tools and ideas here at the Men of Moreland Nights to improve our mental health, and that in a way we have a responsibility to ourselves to look after ourselves and also to now be better leaders and help other blokes around us too. So well done, fellas.